Harvard is on trial, accused in a lawsuit of discriminating against Asian Americans in its admissions process. The case is underway. The plaintiffs, a group called Students for Fair Admission, claim that Harvard University systemically scores Asians lower on certain traits in order to keep their numbers down. Harvard denies that charge and says that its holistic admissions process is necessary to ensure a diverse student body.
So joining us tonight to discuss this is Paul Reville, the former Secretary of Education in Massachusetts and now a professor at Harvard at the Graduate School of Education. Paul, thank you so much for coming in.
Pleasure to be here.
Based on what you've seen so far in this trial, do you think it's more difficult for Asians to get into Harvard than it is for other groups?
Well, I haven't done a thorough review of the evidence in the case, but I do think that the conversation around this case revolves around 2 points. One is whether or not, as you said in your opener, Asian students are being discriminated against, and the plaintiffs allege this is the case. They've been presenting some facts. And the university alleges, the university defends itself and says it's not the case, and it's been shown on several occasions not to be true. This gets in, however, to the larger discussion of affirmative action. This really isn't a case about affirmative action. This is a case about discrimination.
Right, because this is not the government, all right, discriminating or making these decisions. Harvard is a private institution and can do whatever it wants, right? So we should spell out for people that Harvard rates applicants on 4 categories: academics, extracurricular activities, sports, and personal qualities. And these Asian American students involved in the suit claim that Harvard rates them low on personality traits. And what do you make of that claim? From what we understand, this happens in the very early rounds of the discussion about students. What about that point in the lawsuit?
Well, I mean, first of all, it should be a matter of fact. In other words, through discovery, we can determine whether or not that is the case.
The plaintiffs say that it is, that Asian students are graded lower on personality.
Now, how much weight this has in the admissions process, that's the other question. I mean, some people think admission to a university ought to be kind of an academic horse race, and whoever scores first gets in based on purely academic performance and scores. But of course, this has not been the case historically. We've made all kinds of exceptions for athletes, for geographic diversity, for alumni, for donors or children of donors and things of this nature. So there have been a lot of exceptions. And in 1978, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that race could be considered as one of the factors in composing a diverse student body. Harvard could actually fill its class with valedictorians. They have 1,600 places. You could fill them with valedictorians from the 40,000 plus people who apply. So it isn't just a question of who has the top scores. Once you get above a certain level of performance, then we know everybody can do the work. And so the question is, now we have all these people above the level of those who can do the work. How do you break it down and build a class that's like a mosaic that represents something of what the nation looks like so that our students are prepared to be leaders in society in the future?
And in fact, Harvard says it does take race into account in its admissions, but that it can only add to your overall score. When you get your overall score as an applicant, it can add if you are of a certain race. And they argue they have an interest in keeping the student body diverse. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I think that's true not only in the interest of the university in terms of our classes, our student body, the culture on campus, making it as rich and diverse as we possibly can, making it reflect the society that our students will go out and work and live in, making it the kind of place where they'll have experience with the sort of people who they'll be called upon to lead as leaders in the future. So I think all that is really important. I think it's relevant, and I think it ought to be within, as long as you know that students can do the work academically, then we ought to be able to put together a student body that is reflective of the society as a whole.
At this point, the school has a percentage of 20% of Asian students comprise the student body. What happens if Harvard loses this lawsuit? Well,
my understanding, and again, the models that I've seen say that the Asian American enrollment would increase by maybe 2 or 3%. The white enrollment would increase by a factor 4 times larger, 8 or 9%. And you'd see the enrollment of African Americans and Hispanics go down. So it would be arguably a much less diverse place if the plaintiffs prevail in this case. And I think, frankly, the plaintiffs appear to be motivated more by their desire to have affirmative action challenged than they are actually about the particular discrimination charge against Asian Americans.
And in fact, the attorney who brought this case is Edward Bloom. He is known known as being an advocate nationally against affirmative action, and his argument in this case is that Harvard should not be allowed to consider race at all in its admissions process.
But the Supreme Court has already ruled on that. Harvard is allowed, as you put it, to consider that as one factor among others. So the real question here is there unfair discrimination against Asian American students? And that should not be tolerable.
Paul Reville, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Of course, as we said, the lawsuit is ongoing. We will bring you the decision when it comes in. But interesting case.
Good talking with you.
Paul Reville, thank you so much.
Thanks.